Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Soothberry, and welcome to day 8 on our 10-day journey to attracting love this February. Today, we're talking about something that completely changes the game when it comes to love: standards. When you don't get ultra clear on where your bar is, you risk letting yourself settle for whatever shows up. You get stuck in situationships. You make excuses for people who don't show up fully. You settle for late-night texts instead of real plans. You let people bail on you. You stay in gray areas with people who don't define their intentions. And then sometimes you'll convince yourself any love is better than no love at all. But the truth is, settling is not love. It is self-abandonment. When you compromise on your standards, you send a message to yourself and the world that your needs aren't important. But starting today, we are rewriting that narrative. We're raising the bar and aligning ourselves with the kind of love that matches our worth. But first, let's acknowledge a very common worry when it comes to setting high standards. And that worry is, what if I'm too picky? What if I set my standards so high that no one can meet them? That thought is rooted in scarcity. This belief that love is so rare that finding someone who aligns with you is nearly impossible. But here's the truth. Having high standards doesn't make you too picky, it makes you intentional. The key to finding balance between being intentional and being realistic is understanding the difference between preferences and standards. So let's break this down quickly. Preferences are surface-level traits or nice-to-haves. Things like they have to have a specific job earning a certain level of money. They must love the same music or hobbies as me. I want someone taller than me. I want someone that if I bring out to a group of friends, all my friends are impressed. These are fine to have, but they're not the foundation of a healthy relationship. If you focus only on preferences, you may overlook people who could meet your emotional and relational needs. Standards, on the other hand, are non-negotiables, rooted in values and compatibility. Things that are like emotional availability. I need someone who can communicate and express their feelings. Consistency. I need someone who follows through on their words with actions. Kindness and respect. I need someone who treats me well and treats others well. While preferences can and should be flexible, standards are what ensure your emotional safety and fulfillment are met. So how do you tell if your standards are realistic? The word realistic can be tricky because it's often used to make us second guess our worth. The key isn't whether your standards are realistic for everyone, it's whether they're realistic for the right person. For example, if your standard is that your partner must communicate openly about their feelings, that's not too much. However, if your standard is that they must never have any flaws or disagreements with you, that's where things may start leaning into perfectionism or romanticism. Here's the distinction. Standards aren't about finding someone perfect. They're about finding someone who's a good fit for you. When does being realistic cross into the line of settling? So settling happens when you lower your standards to avoid being alone. It's when you tell yourself, they're inconsistent, but I should be grateful someone is interested in me. Or they don't meet my needs, but I'm afraid I'll never find someone better. Or at least they're better than my last relationship. Being realistic doesn't mean ignoring your needs. It means recognizing that healthy love will include imperfections, but those imperfections won't require you to compromise on your worth or well-being. For example, a healthy partner might forget an anniversary, but will apologize and make it right. An unhealthy partner will dismiss your feelings entirely or repeatedly fail to show up with care. Realism in love means understanding that relationships require work, but they should never feel like you're the only one doing the heavy lifting. I want you to do a deep inner check-in. Am I accepting less than I truly want because I'm afraid of being alone? Am I convincing myself that this is enough for me? Have I ever justified bad behavior with, well, at least they insert bare minimum required action? At the end of the day, what you allow is what will continue. And when you raise your standards, you don't just attract better people, you become the version of you that naturally aligns with these people. Here's what most people don't realize. When you lower your standards, you're not making it easier to find love. you're making it harder to find the right love. High standards don't repel people. They filter out the ones who aren't aligned with you. This is a good thing. The person who is meant for you will rise to meet your standards, not see them as a burden. In fact, having clear standards makes it easier for the right person to find you because you know what you want and won't waste energy on what isn't meant for you. So a powerful reframing of the fear of being too picky is to ask yourself this: would you rather spend a little more time waiting for the right relationship or spend years trying to fix one that never should have started? Settling feels easier in the moment because it avoids discomfort, but in the long run, it costs you peace, joy, and the love you truly deserve. And in the worst case, it will brew resentment and can create a lot of pain and hurt down the line. So here are some practical tips for balancing standards and flexibility. Number 1, anchor your standards in values, not fears. Make sure your standards come from a place of self-respect, not fear. For example, a fear-based standard is, I need someone who texts me all day because I've been ghosted before. A value-based standard is, I need someone who prioritizes consistent communication because it makes me feel secure. Number 2, focus on how they make you feel, not just what they look like on paper. Sometimes we get so caught up in a checklist that we overlook how someone actually makes us feel. A great partner may not check every superficial box, but they'll make you feel loved, prioritized, and valued. Number 3, recognize the difference between compromise and compromising yourself. Compromise is healthy, like meeting halfway on where to spend the holidays, but compromising yourself is unhealthy, like giving up your own needs entirely just to keep the peace. And number 4, be honest about your patterns. If you're consistently lowering your standards out of fear, take a step back and reflect. Ask yourself, am I staying here because I believe this is what I deserve? Am I afraid of being alone, or do I genuinely see a future with this person? Now that that's clear, let's set and keep your high standards. To get started, you first have to be clear on your non-negotiables. Write down exactly what you want in a relationship, not just the cute stuff, but the deep stuff. This isn't about surface level preferences like height or hobbies. It's about core values and behaviors you need in a partner to feel safe, respected, and loved. Then you must hold yourself accountable to holding them accountable. Standards mean nothing if you don't enforce them. So if someone repeatedly crosses a boundary or fails to meet a non-negotiable, don't make excuses for them. Instead of thinking, well, they might change, remind yourself, I deserve someone who already meets me where I am. If someone is inconsistent, unclear, or giving you half of what you want, let them go. The right love won't feel like a guessing game. I will caveat this by saying communication comes first. If you don't say anything, the other person might not realize they're crossing a boundary. Communicate first, and then if they breach it, you can let them go. Finally, believe that what you want exists. This is where a lot of people struggle. If you've been hurt or disappointed, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, maybe I'm asking for too much. But trust me, you're not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong people. High standards don't repel the right love, they attract it. So let's kick off the day with some affirmations. As is usual, I will be stating them out loud for you and then leaving a pause for you to repeat after me. Let's get started. I do not settle. I attract love that fully aligns with my standards. I choose relationships that feel safe, stable, and nourishing. Love is abundant, and I trust that what's meant for me will never require me to shrink. The right person for me will rise to meet my energy. I am worthy of love that is deep, consistent, and fulfilling. Good job, my love. And remember, your standards are not walls keeping love out. They're filters ensuring that only the kind of love you truly deserve gets in. If someone can't meet your standards, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a sign that they're not the right person for you. The love that's meant for you will meet you where you are without you having to lower yourself to make it fit. So hold your standards high, my love, just like your chin, and the right person will rise to meet you. Great work today, and join me back here tomorrow as we get into day 9, which is understanding feelings in a fresh relationship and how to maintain those. I'll see you back here then. Lots of love. Bye.